It is the spring of 2076, and you have all been hired by, 2077. You have all been hired by the mercenary company Raddick's Rats, who are a mercenary company that specializes in subcontracted jobs. They are based around the British SAS SBS Sabre Squadron model, and their commanding officer is Major Rachel Raddick, and she is former SAS. Your briefing session is scheduled for 8 a.m. In the briefing room, funnily enough. Is anyone doing anything special to prepare?
Oh man, 8 a.m. I am getting a whole bunch of extra coffee. Whew.
Okay, that's not a problem.
Janice would be, I guess, going over any materials sent out ahead,
Yep, you all received a briefing packet a few days ago when you were told when the briefing is. Because you are going to be dropping within the next 72 hours, you are on special meal allowance, whereby you get better meals, more of them, less soy, just, better quality to prepare you for going out into the field for what promises to be a long operation.
Spending from 0600 to 0700. I'm spending it doing weapons checks, gear check on all my gear, making sure everything's right.
No, it wasn't 78 last time, was it?
Yeah, it was.
So.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I must have written it down wrong on my notes. Either way, in that case, it is the early spring of 2078. Doesn't matter much, but hey.
Winter's just doing her normal routines before the meeting.
I'm making sure all my gear is packed in the right order.
I brush my teeth.
Nice.
Very important.
Yes, very important. It's probably the most important piece of toilet gear in your pack.
worst case scenario, you can make a shiv out of it.
Oh, I imagine he's got a standard issue Special Forces toothbrush, which already comes with a shiv on the other end.
Ooh.
Everyone knows it's important for orcs to have shiny teeth.
Exactly. Just make sure you keep your mouth closed while you're stealthing at night. 8 a.m. comes around, and yes, I'm going to change your unit designation because I forgot to write. 8 a.m. comes around, and you find yourselves with two other six-man teams in the briefing room at precisely 8 a.m. A giant. Giants are usually 3.5 to 4 meters tall. This guy is even taller than that. He has what for a giant is a very small beard. It's only about 4 centimeters long. He has short hair, shaved at the sides and moderately long on top, sort of normal human long, or normal person long, I should say. His arms and legs are cybernetic, cyber arms, cyber legs, and he walks totally ramrod straight. Giants live longer than trolls, and this guy is fairly old by the looks of him. Think the sergeant, the senior sergeant out of We Were Soldiers, the movie. Just make him, 4.25 meters tall with olive drab metallic arms and legs, and that's pretty much Titan. He walks into the room from the door at the right-hand side at the front of the briefing room at exactly 8 a.m. and he shouts at a volume which, even with dampener cyberware, is painfully loud. Attention! The other 12 people in the room bolt to their feet and stand at attention.
Of course. Naturally do the same.
Popping attention at the same time.
I stand up, put down my coffee, and get to attention.
I do the same.
Same.
Without the coffee, I didn't bring coffee.
Okay. About 10 seconds after the giant walks in, what can only be described as a very well-built Amazonian-style beauty of a human woman walks in. Again, her demeanor and posture denotes a long life in the military. She doesn't have any obvious cybernetics other than the data jack on the side of her head at her left temple. She walks onto the stage to the podium that is off to the left of the stage, thus clearing the full view to the incredibly large trid screen. At ease, rats, take your seats.
Taking a seat.
Mm-hmm.
So all 18 of you in the briefing room sit down. I imagine Salides.
Salad. It's French. French for lettuce.
Okay. Salad probably picks up his coffee, maybe even throwing a leg over the chair next to him. Good morning, rats. As you've no doubt figured out from the briefing packets you were sent 2 days ago, tomorrow is the start of this operation. A bit of background before we go into specifics. A gentleman by the name of General Mohammed has decided that he will set up his own nation in sub-Saharan Africa. He has called this nation Abduistan, and he has declared it an independent sovereign state. Normally, we don't have a problem with that, except Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia, who actually own the real estate in question, have disagreed. The UN has tasked us with leading a special forces style operation deep into the desert to assist in gathering intelligence and destabilizing his military as much as possible before the main assault. This operation is expected to last approximately 6 months. Yes, I'm aware that that means you will be in the Saharan desert for the summer. I can only apologize, but General Mohammed did not consult us when he declared his new state. Behind the Major on the wall, the TRID screen lights up and it gives you a map of Northern Africa. This map has all of the coastal cities, Alexandria and a few others, Tunis, Algiers, those sorts of places all marked on, as well as a few historically relevant locations, such as El Alamein, because who doesn't? At the bottom of the map is an area delineated by a brown cross-hatching. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the successionist state of Abduistan. As she says that, 2 lines appear through the map. Considering the size of this new country, she says with inverted commas, the rabbit ears gesture with inverted to delineate inverted commas. We have decided to send in 3 patrols. Each patrol will be assigned a sector, east, west, and central. You are to conduct unlimited and unrestricted operations in accordance with RAT's policy and the Geneva Convention within your sector. If one of the other patrols runs into any problems, you will be requested to assist as much as possible. Unfortunately, for the next 3 months, while we gather our forces, you will be largely on your own. There will be very little air and ground support available. Obviously, we will do what we can, but we cannot guarantee anything for the next 90 days. 1 Delta, you will be assigned the West sector. 2 Alpha, you will be assigned Central. And 2 Bravo, you will be assigned the West sector. As the patrol names are mentioned, the respective sergeants nod and acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
We will be making monthly supply drops at locations provided 24 hours beforehand. These will contain supplies, any replacement equipment as necessary, any specialist equipment that has been requisitioned, and your rations. As you are traveling light, those rations will be the standard pre-processed soy-based and microprotein-based ration packs. Obviously, they're the high-calorie desert versions because you will be expending a lot of calories. There will also be water bladders dropped. We are allocating 5 liters per person per day. That is an awful lot of water. We recommend you follow SOP and cache as much supplies as you can within your areas of operation. How and where you do so, or if you do so, is down to the individual patrols. Any question?
Raising my hand for one.
McKnight.
Ma'am, how are we to engage with non-combatants in zone? Do you wish for us to attempt to relieve them of situations, or would you rather us not get involved?
From a tactical sense, I will leave that to you, you guys on the ground, because God knows micromanaging in a normal battle is dangerous enough. In this sort of scenario, it's catastrophic. From a strategic standpoint, we would like you to engage in a hearts and minds operation as much as possible. Again, it will be down to the teams on the ground as to when and how that occurs.
Understood, Ma'am.
Any other questions?
Yeah, raising hand here. What kind of, is there some kind of specific wildlife or whatever we should be aware of specifically?
Yes. Most of that should have been in your briefing packets. You will be in the sub-Saharan desert, so expect camel spiders, nova scorpions, all sorts of nasty snakes, as well as potentially other larger threat animals. There have been rumors that prior to succeeding in declaring his new nation, General Muhammad was collecting or squirreling away security and military trained power critters and possibly normal critters as well. So be careful out there, people. Your rat suits are good, but against a hellhound or something bigger, they're still not going to hold up for very long.
Noted. Got it.
Any other questions?
Last question I have, ma'am. Raising his hand one more time. Any information we obtain from hit locations, forward to you or forward to a mobile command spot?
We have been provided the services of a host for that purpose. Any and all communications with us will go via the host. That should hopefully prevent any communication delays from distance and everything else, and also should hope to maintain or enhance electronic security. It's not a particularly secure host. It's slightly above average, but it's the best we could get with short notice. If that fails, your comm gear has all been encrypted, and you have all been they have all been programmed with 3 alternate dead drops as an emergency. If you have to evade and escape, do not connect to the host, follow SOP, and use one of those 3 dead drops. Each team, each patrol has 3 separate, has their own collection of 3 dead drops, so we know who it is. Anything else? Very good, ladies and gents. With that, I shall let you carry out your final gear checks and go and visit the supply and logistics team. Make sure everything is in tip-top shape. Takeoff is at 0300. See you on the flight line. And with that, the giant calls everyone to attention again.
Stand up at attention again.
Snap to attention.
Go to attention with salute.
McKnight, you notice the giant give you a bit of a look as you salute, at which point, once everyone's stood up and at attention, Major Raddick walks out, followed by the sergeant. As soon as the briefing ends, the other 2 patrols stand up and file out, talking amongst themselves as they do so. Janice, the other 2 sergeants, one of them gives you a finger guns, the other one...
I will return the finger guns.
The other one gives you a sort of a 2-fingered salute, and they head off to complete their own preparations and get ready for their own airdrop.
All right. Who do we have? Let's see.
As you all stand up and get ready to file out, we will go through physical descriptions, because this is probably a good time. Starting with Janice, acting sergeant of 1 Delta.
Yeah, sure. Give me 1 second. Janice is sort of tall and lean and sort of well built, well proportioned. Not like particularly muscled, but sort of hard around the edges. Because of various internal cyberware, she's always sort of moving a little bit, either like sort of tapping fingers, tapping foot, something like that. From the top down, sort of like long raven gray, raven black hair, with a sort of just professional look on her face, just a slight smile. And Janice is an elf, though it's fairly hard to see. What else? I think I do have a picture here for the rest of the team, at least.
Okay, acting corporal Salad.
Salad is tall and skinny and green, and he always looks a little bit loose about his movements. He's never quite got that whole crisp military style down, and for that matter, he never seems to able to get his uniform to stay as crisply ironed as it should be, even right after he finishes getting things cleaned and spiffed up for inspection. Somehow he's always got like a loose string here or there, or a button misaligned, and I think that's about it for his physical description there. The green is from some biotech. He often spends more time than his compatriots might be comfortable with sunbathing.
And Salad is a human male.
Yes, sorry.
Technical specialist Winter.
Yeah, Winter is a 1.68 small human with almost white short hair that, at least right now, on the back of her hair is tied into a bun. She's 26 years old, and she obviously is wearing her uniform right now. but things that stick out the most preferably her cyber eyes. It's not like they're, for most of people, just normal eyes like brown or a different color like red with a natural color for eyes. Her eyes are supposed to like eyes itself, so depending on the reflection of the sun or any light, they are either somewhat blue or violet. Yeah, like ice itself, if you have a block of clear ice, and depending on what kind of sunlight or light itself is reflecting on it, it changes its color slightly bit. She also has some markings on her face, obviously not not scars or anything like that. It's more war paint or something. I don't know if it's the right word, but it would be on both sides of her face or under the eyes. It's a dark blue triangle, and underneath that, parallel to each other, are dark blue diamonds, but not like diamonds mineral, but the shape of a diamond. And her eyes are somewhat. No, she always looks tired with insomnia. And I think if nothing changed, she's the only one that has been part of the Raddick's raids for just 6. She also has a data jack, but that's almost all of the time, most of the time covered by her own hair. You even see it.
Arcane Specialist Aziza.
Yeah, Sisa is a female of Arabian descent. She has black hair and brown eyes and tan skin. She wears her hair in 2 buns on each side of her head, in the neck, not on top of her head, but in the neck. And she has on both hands, she has sort of like these henna-like tattoos. They don't do anything. They're not magical, but they are there for other reasons.
Since Nate just added that, Winter also has a Finnish accent. Finland has.
Trooper McKnight.
Yeah. Looking up at the rest of the team, is a dwarf at roughly 132 centimeters, weighing about 75 kilograms. Brown hair, just within acceptable kept just in limits for shagginess. Same thing with a trimmed handlebar mustache, revealing from his chin down throughout most of his neck is tattoos that are generally seen amongst some of the elves in the Nan, and pretty much wearing his typical attire for briefing.
And Trooper, sorry, what was your name?
Me? Or what?
Yeah, Trooper Torden.
Yeah, Torden. Yeah. Torden. He's like he's like 1.8 meters high. He's like an orc, Caucasian. And while he's not very, very tall, he's a very, very compact build. Like he has broad shoulders, and his hairy muscles are like they are like very, very tight bubbles all over. And that matches fine with his bald head he has, which just gives a strong contrast. His black bushy beard that covers the entire lower part of his face, and while he doesn't like he's always has this calm aura of somebody who's just following orders and listening and doing what he's supposed to do. So he doesn't his face doesn't change much. He just has like a friendly look. But he has like his gray greenish colored eyes. They have this gleam to them that always promises that at some point he'll not be a nice, but he has these briefing. Yeah, he seems friendly and hairy, and mostly when not in armor, he just has no pants and some sleeveless shirt on.
Okay, thank you all for that. The briefing is now over. What is it you guys are going to do?
Wait. So I remember that Winter and Aziza were in the rats previously. Or is that something else?
No, I'm actually new.
It was me and Galahad who were with
yes.
Amazonia.
I'll sort of wave over to Winter and I'll say, all right, good to see you again, Winter. And the rest of you are new. Welcome to 1 Delta. We're little down on manpower, so after this whole Amazonia debacle, can't say that I've had the pleasure to meet most of you.
Yeah,
It's-
when
It is a pleasure.
Yeah, it's certainly a pleasure to meet you. I think we're all gonna have a great time together, right?
Definitely. Looking forward to it.
We'll see.
Hmm.
Also, I'd like to ascend everyone.
Okay, by all means.
Start
McKnight,
doing the rolls.
Yeah, well,
McKnight, you'll need to roll for your masking.
right now I just need to remember how to pull that one up.
Magic plus grade.
okay, while Caesar's sensing to do this while she does this, you said that Janus waved Winter over, or was just waving to?
Just waving to her like,
One hit on
Okay.
a sensing Janus.
oh, good.
Best is sensing.
Shut up, you.
Since you are, since Janus is the sergeant of our group, Winter, after being waved over and talked to, or at least from Janus, will walk over to her, salutes, and Sergeant Janus, am I allowed to go and conduct my preparation for our mission?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. I already know you. I already know how you're doing. But for everyone else here, I mean, I've read over your files, obviously, but maybe you could perhaps tell me specifically, a little bit about yourself. Can't get everything from a personnel file.
Hey, sure. To just sum it up quickly, I'm the front guy. Tend to smash things and cleave things. I can also provide some heavy support. If definitely my spells and my fists are best used.
So since Janus allowed Winter to go, she will then move back to somewhere where she can compiling enough.
Okay. Are you guys going to go to the quartermasters first?
Oh yeah, that would be compiling, registering.
Yeah. We should
Yeah.
probably pick up some of that APDS and grenades and all that before the other teams take it all right? We'll probably need at least a couple boxes each, right?
Okay, just to go through, Aziza, you notice that Janice is mundane and has some cyberware by the looks of it.
That's a bit of an understatement.
She only got one hit, so she doesn't get much more information than that.
It's like last time.
Salad is, well, why don't you say what you are, Salad?
Very relaxed. That is what Salad is. Also, incredibly low essence. I believe it's 0.61, I said? Yeah, 0.61 essence, no magic. And the cyber and bioware throughout my body. Through the skin, through the nerves, big chunks of it in my head. I've probably got, a few grams of original material in there, but it's tricky to make it out for months. It's all the cyber crammed in. And even muscles are modded a bit.
Okay, same for Vincent, or McKnight, however you want to be referred to.
McKnight works for call name. Vincent's is actual, but no. Vincent picks up with does pick up magically active. Nothing too fancy though, but he's also showing up with wear, mostly from his ortho skin. He's got some damage he's got some other compensators tucked away somewhere in him, and his muscles have definitively been toned more so than what would be normal for a dwarf.
Okay, for Winter, you find out that as far as you're concerned, she is mundane. And do you have any standard grade implants, Winter?
Just checked it. Everything but the data rate normal grade. So it's my cyber ice rate, cerebral booster, nation. Oh wait, those are bio.
Myelination is geneware. That takes a lot of hits.
Yeah, I forgot. Well, Aziza
Okay.
doesn't know, but it's not the problem that you guys know.
Yeah. Torden?
Hmm?
Do you have any implants, bioware, cyberware up to beta grade?
No.
Okay. You're awakened, I would take it.
Yes, indeed.
Do you have the masking?
The what? Sorry.
Are you an initiate?
No.
Okay, fair enough. In that case, Aziza finds out your exact essence of magic. Your essence will be 6. Your magic is 6.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's everyone.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, you know that 2 of your party are awakened. Everyone else is augmented.
Mm-hmm. And I guess I know. Do I know that Winter is a technomancer?
It's 5 hits to detect
Yeah,
technomancy.
but did I know beforehand? I don't. You're the only one who has the files, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
since you are new to the Raddick threads, you know that, I guess.
Okay, then I guess I find out sometime.
More than likely. Okay, so are you all going to the quartermaster?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I'm already there.
Okay. As you walk out of the main building into the spring sunshine of Lisbon in Portugal, across the quad is the quartermaster building and supply area. It's a very large, what looks like a warehouse with a small one-story office and administration section bolted somewhat as an afterthought onto the front. As you walk in through the double armored glass doors, you see that the front of the building has been set up to act as a choke point. There's a dog leg before a second set of doors. Obviously, as authorized personnel, you are entitled to go straight through the authorized personnel only door into the main area of the quartermaster building. As you walk in, you see a very old, gruff-looking dwarf in a transis steed behind a desk that has been modified to be of the appropriate height. Ah, 1 Delta. I was wondering when you guys would get your sorry asses over here. Right.
Yeah, we just like to make you wait, you know.
Well, at least you're here. Okay. Got everyone's personal gear sorted. Those of you that provided weapons, they've all been serviced and cleaned. The dwarf turns to look at Salad. Your drones have all been serviced and maintained as well. They should all be in tip-top working order.
Oh,
Better
good.
than when they came
Good.
out of the factory. Your pinky is stored over there, and he points to an area where your modified Ares Roadmaster is sat. Around it are all of Salad's drones, currently powered down, along with several pallets of supplies. Okay, first things first, comm gear. There's a whir as his steed moves back slightly on its electric motors. He reaches down to the floor where he picks up a smallish ruggedized case and puts it onto the desk. Okay, as per SOP, you won't be allowed to take your personal comlinks with you. So here are your issue comlinks. He opens the case and hands each of you a Fairlight Caliban, which has been modified with a SIM module and an encryption module, as well as a stealth dongle. These have all been preloaded with all the comm specs that you'll need. He then reaches into a different case and pulls out another set of comlinks. These look to be they look like they are knockoff fake Hermes icons, but they are in fact genuine Hermes icons just made to look like it. Should you need a backup or to use any of the fake SINs, here are your additional comlinks. They've been preloaded with the fake SINs that you will be able to use in country. Your Calibans have been loaded with your corporate SINs. I say corporate SINs because, you know, we are technically a corporation. Those SINs will be recognized by each and every country that you will be operating as national SINs. You have all of the licenses and permits necessary for any and all gear that you have, including what normally, he says as he looks at those of you that are former Shadowrunners, would not be entitled to have a permit. The other SINs that have been loaded onto these, he says as he hands out the Hermes icons, each of them has been loaded with 2 fake SINs, which biometrically should match each of you. He says that he makes sure to hand you the right ones. There are little futuristic post-it note type labels on each of them. Try not to burn them, but if you have to, you have to. He then leans down and picks up a few other bits and bobs and hands them to each of you. All right, your issued gear is over by your pinky. By all means, go and inspect it, make sure it's all sorted. Any special equipment that any of you need to requisition.
What was the guy's name?
He just has a name tag on his uniform shirt that says Bob.
Show the new guys around, Bob. I know where my stuff is. I'll go pick it out if you don't mind.
Not a problem. Oh, yes. One more thing. He leans down and pulls out a RCC. Your old one wasn't quite good enough, Salad, so here's a nice new one. Your team's PTAC has been attached to it. Obviously, once you get into country, that will be highly important to all of you.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to redo all my presets, aren't I?
Well, I got one of the guys to go through and try and mimic everything as on your old RCC, but yes, that would probably be wise. It's also been loaded with stealth dongle. Can't have your drone network being violated by one of those pesky deckers, can we? If you need any Autosofts. Just log into the host and download them. There should be a full suite of almost everything you're likely to need, but any specifics, let me know by about 3 p.m.
All right. When I have a chance to get around and looking at it, I will let you know what I need.
Okay. He turns around and whistles, and a couple of armor technicians come over, and they lead you over to where your pinky.
Now that it's done with Winter will step forward. Quartermaster Bob, I will require a cyber for this mission.
He cocks an eyebrow. Okay, I'll have something brought over.
What is this new RCC?
It's the one on your sheets. The drone web? It's just an excuse to explain why a former runner has a ridiculously expensive RCC. That's
Gotcha.
it does now have a rating for stealth dongle and a compact Esprit General PTAC installed.
What about reagents? Should I request them here, or did you pack them all?
Yes, reagents. He turns around and whistles and gestures at another armor or supply technician who comes over and leads you to over to an area of the supply warehouse that has freestanding fake walls. The usual dividers that you'd find in an office. Just to sort of mark it out. If you actually perceive as you walk into that area, you'll notice that this area has been turned into a lodge, the area of which is just inside the dividers. Basically is a physical manifestation of the lodge to allow mundanes and everyone else to know exactly where it is. In there, you find a young woman in her late 20s, sat at a desk, looks like she's working on something. She looks up as you approach. How can I help?
I need reagents. I'm going out on it. So I was sent here.
Yes. Aziza from 1 Delta.
That's
Okay.
right.
What tradition are you? She says as she stands up and walks over to a rather large faux wood footlocker.
Islamic tradition.
Oh, you're going to have a great time. Okay, let's see.
I doubt
let's
it.
see. She smiles and gives a little chuckle. Okay, let's. Okay, so she pulls out what looks like a leather bag. Well, it is a leather bag. Since leather, you can't tell. When she hands it over, when you open it up, you find that it's felt lined, and inside is 200 units of drams of raw reagents. Do you need anything with a bit more oomph than those?
If you have it.
She rummages around in the footlocker. You see this footlocker is basically filled with lots of different coloured leather bags of the kind she just gave you. Some of them quite full. Some of them look like they've got very little in them. She reaches around and here we go. This should do you for now, she says as she hands you a second bag. Inside is 20 drams of refined reagents and 10 drams of radical.
That will do. Thank you. I need to sort this. Do you have a table I can use?
She cocks an eyebrow. Yeah, sure. And she points to a small workbench on the other side of the lodge. Make yourself at home.
I thank her. Then I go to the table to sort my reagents as I want them to be.
Yes, nice and symmetrical.
Exactly.
As the rest of you get over to your Pinky, as I said, it's a heavily modified Ares Roadmaster. In front of it are supply boxes, supply crates. In those crates, you will find your standard issue equipment as per the list that I've already provided you. Survival kits, survival knives, combat knives, various slap hatches, other useful things. There's a crowbar, one of the small folding combat crowbar things, reactive myomer pack, various bits of webbing. There is also a very large crate with food, 24-hour ration packs for the desert. Each one comes in a box about 10 centimeters cubed. In it, you'll find 5 sachets, large sachets, one for breakfast, one for lunch, one for dinner, one for snack, and one for dessert. There's also packets of tea, coffee, sugar, powdered, highly toxic looking lemon and orange drinks, sterilization tablets for water, chewing gum, cigarettes, matches, all of the usual stuff that you find in a 24-hour ration pack. Next to the rear of the Roadmaster is a pallet, and on it is what looks to be 2 weeks' supply of water for your entire team. It's a very large pallet, several jerry cans, as well as a large bladder for storing in the storage tank built into the Roadmaster. As you guys are sorting through and collecting your, yes, something along those lines. It should be 530 times 40. So it should be like 300 liters of water or something. I can't math right now. As you guys are sorting through all of your issued gear, personal gear, an armor technician comes over and provides you with an ARO of where your weaponry is stored. Does everyone have a sidearm on their sheet?
Yes.
No, man. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
I have 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, so you got a pistol of some kind. Okay.
Mm.
Those of you that don't will find that there is an Ares Predator 5 modified for extreme conditions, level 1, and with electronic firing, and SmartLink 2, obviously. Sorry, not SmartLink 2, that's an old edition. Smart gun system and improved rangefinder with each of your, and personalized grip, sorry, with each of your identifiers on, as well as personal weapons. Does everyone have a long arm?
Yep.
Rifle or shotgun?
Yes.
I can't use it.
Okay. Aziza and Salah, do you have one?
No. I don't
drone.
know. I don't know how to use it.
I don't have a long arm. I can't use them.
You have a machine gun.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, okay. I wouldn't call that a long arm.
Okay.
It's a
Sorry,
very
let me
long arm.
rephrase.
Okay.
A primary weapon. So
Sure,
assault rifle,
sure.
shotgun, machine gun. Aziza can't use any of those.
I can use pistol.
Okay. You also find that there is a fairly low end assault rifle with your name attached to it in AR, because if you don't have one, you'll look like the mage.
That's a very good point.
In the adjacent rack next to your weapons, so anything that counts as an automatic, shotgun, heavy weapon, any of those, they're all lined up. In the rack next to them, you will find your rat suits. Who is taking a sneak suit?
I am.
Sam.
Okay. There is 6 light, 6 heavy, and 3 sneak suits.
Okay, only 3 sneak suits. Then I'll leave it for the more sneaky person.
If you would have requisitioned a sneak suit, there will be one available for you.
I think it would be good for me to have one.
Okay. I mean, they have no issue with any of you guys having multiple suits. Obviously, you won't be able to wear more than one at a time for obvious reasons, because there's only one of you. The helmets will work with all of them. So yeah, there are 6 helmets. Those of you that requisitioned sensor suites added to the helmets, those will be added. All of the suits have been custom fit to your individual biometric specification, the full 3D body scans you had when you arrived on base a few days prior. The suits are naturally desert tan colored with pink highlights, as well as a slightly darker brown highlight, low light. However, from the specifications that you receive with your mission briefings, they have electrochromic, so they can be changed to other colors if necessary. The sneak suits have ruthenium polymer coating, hence why they're called a sneak suit.
Still
You only take a sneak suit and a light suit.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. On a pallet, about 3 meters in front of the shelving units with your armor and weapons on, you will find a crate of ammunition boxes.
Slot has somehow already managed to get a grease stain on his helmet.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Uh,
Okay, on the pallet, you will find what your mission briefing referred to as military charge ammunition. There is a light suit for everyone because that doesn't have the advanced nanotech desert survival equipment built into it, so it doesn't need to be recharged. So the light suit can be worn all of the time, while the sneak or heavy suits are going through their periodic recharge and maintenance.
All right, I'll take a heavy and a light suit.
Cool. Okay, on the pallet of ammunition, you find 5,000 rounds of assault rifle ammunition, comprising of 1,000 rounds of military charge regular jacketed ammunition, and military charge relates to +1 DV hand loaded. You also find 2,000 rounds of military charge APDS, and 2,000 rounds of military charge XX ammo. There is 500 rounds of heavy pistol ammunition. Again, 40% are XX, 40% are APDS, 20% are standard regular ammunition. There is 1,000 rounds of, 2,000 rounds of ammunition for your machine gun, Torden. Again, in the 40-40-20 ratio.
Okay.
McKnight, you have a shotgun. Does anyone else?
I have a shotgun.
I took the shotgun off. I've only got the Yamaha.
Okay.
I've got an assortment of heavy weapons and assault rifles.
What do you have beyond LMG and assault rifle?
Got a heavy machine gun, 3 assault rifles, and a sniper rifle.
I think someone else has a sniper rifle, don't they?
I have
and also a gas dispenser.
Okay.
I have a SM5.
Okay. For the shotgun, you will find 500 rounds. Again, 40-40-20 ratio of the same as before. There is also 100 rounds of flechette ammunition, buckshot, standard buckshot. There is 2,000 rounds of HMG ammunition. There's no standard jacketed rounds. It is 1,000 of APDS and 1,000 of XX. There is an assortment of grenades, both thrown and launched. Looks like there is about 50 of flashbang and explosive. If there's any specific types you requested prior to your briefing, they will be there as well. For the gas dispenser, what gas did you requisition, Salad?
Let's see. I believe. Let me look up my list here. I'm pretty sure Neurostun 10 was on that list.
Okay, not a problem.
Let's see. Tear gas.
That's also there.
And 7.7.
Okay, there's not much 7.7, and when you look at the container it's in, it's denoted as Neurostun 8 because chemical weapons aren't technically allowed under the Geneva Convention, but that's more of a nod, wink, wink.
Yeah, and can I get a rainbow assortment of skywriting smoke as well?
Amazing.
The armor technician sort of gives you a weird look, but he goes off and finds a bunch of various different containers.
Look, it's very important for non-technical communication methods. Whenever, the matrix goes down, it does that. It's the desert.
The armor technician, supply technician comes back and just sort of goes, yeah, okay, and hands over the appropriate containers, the canisters, of various different colored skywriting smoke. Also in the equipment supplies, you find a load of stim patches, several doses of stim fluid for use in auto injectors, several doses of crash, trauma patches, antidote patches. In fact, the antidote patches, you have the general broad spectrum antidote patches, and you also have antidote patches specifically for neurotoxins, such as the venom of many of the awakened critters that you may encounter on your mission.
But they didn't pack any psyche, did they?
There is some psyche. There is actually 20 doses of pharmaceutical grade psyche.
Yay!
No, there isn't anymore.
However, that is denoted as for the team. But I suspect most of those will end up in Aziz's.
Well, if no one else is taking.
What do you mean there was 15 doses of Psyche? I only saw 10 doses of Psyche.
Yeah, exactly.
There is also several doses of what is it? It's there's several doses of the drugs which counteract paralysis and nausea. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but I think it's neostigmatine and onodrodon or whatever.
That sounds right. I think those are on the list.
On Dasteron, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. There is also what looks like 200 doses of when you open the box, it's a very, very powerful painkiller. It's a general broad spectrum analgesic as well as ibuprofen type anti-inflammatory. It's a commercial brand. It's Neo-Nurofen period pain plus. When the first one of you opens that little box with those in, one of the supply technicians turns around and says, a male supply technician turns around and says, tell you what, gotta respect that. Yeah, it's the best stuff on the market. The best. There is nothing better. We were turned on to it by one of the major's former colleagues. It's seriously whiz drag.
Take your word for it.
Any other equipment that you have personally acquired, will obviously you have, so you add that to your requisitioned or issued equipment for the operation. Your briefing packs informed you that there will be a fortnightly supply drop consisting of water, rations, and ammunition, because 300 liters of water is an awful lot of volume, and the bunkerage and storage in the Roadmaster doesn't account for more than that. You would need a vehicle much larger just to store water, which is one of the problems of the desert. You will receive ammunition as well with the fortnightly supply drops. So the ammunition stores that you have are intended to last 2 weeks. Yes, your Roadmaster is carrying almost a ton of water.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We will need it.
Yeah. The suspension and powertrain have been upgraded to allow for that. And the actual storage tank in the vehicle has baffles so that it won't affect the handling. It's kind of stuff we used to do in the Navy to make sure everything was not sloshing around. Did anyone want to requisition anything else?
Yeah, boss. I can think of we're missing something to deal with any potential enemy vehicles that we might come across. Maybe a interceptor, some anti-vehicle missiles, anti-personnel missiles.
One of the supply technicians is, yeah, okay. He heads off, comes back with a small trolley. It's a drone, and it's following behind him. On it, you see that there are 6 dual-purpose anti-vehicle rockets. They are as technology strikers, so disposable law-type rockets. However, they have a rating 2 sensor system, making them missiles, and that sensor system is capable of assisting with engaging ground or aerial targets. There's 2 of you with sniper rifles, and you'll find that there is 200 rounds of sniper ammo, again in the usual proportions.
I just need 50 kilograms worth of explosive, or worth of a demo.
50 kilos of explosives. What the hell are you going to be blowing up? A fucking dam?
That's to stretch out for 6 months, sir.
All right, let me see what I can round up. He comes back about 15 minutes later with 30 kilos of rating 10 plastic explosives. This is all I could scrounge up. 50 kilos is an awful lot of boom. However, I've logged this in the system, so it is available for requisition.
Thank you. I can make that work.
He also brings over a set of multi-purpose kit of detonators, and the med kits that each of you are issued are rating 3 med kits that have been upgraded to rating 5. So for tests, they count as rating 5 med kits, but they can only be used 3 times without being restocked. And you have 100 of the small packs of med kit restocks in your team equipment. I believe many of you have rating 6 med kits, so obviously they are very physically large, so won't always be available for you in the field. Does anyone want to requisition anything else?
I can.
We cover grenade launchers, or
Yes.
Okay, good. Then I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, you have flashbang grenades and you have explosive grenades. If there was any specific types you requisitioned, they would be there as well.
Okay, good.
I imagine there's a bunch of Neurostun 10 gas grenades floating around somewhere.
Hmm.
Okay, so once you've all been appropriately supplied and have taken the time to stow it all into your vehicle and personal combat gear.
But people didn't ask for the stick and shock, or what?
There wasn't any on the pallet of ammunition.
Well, I'm not going to ask for stick and shock because that is not my area.
I've got maybe 100 rounds of stick and shock scattered amongst my gear. It's for emergencies and live targets only.
Okay. The supply, one of the supply technicians will assist you with packing any of your gear into your pinky and making everything ready for transport.
I believe so.
Yeah, I'll be going through all my drones and double checking, making sure that everything is up to my standards and is packed well enough that nothing will be damaged on the deployment.
The Topps Company Inc. has sole ownership of the names, logo, artwork, marks, photographs, sounds, audio, video, and or any other proprietary material used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Topps Company Inc. has granted permission to Manor and Steel to use such names, logos, artwork, marks, and or proprietary information for promotional and informational purposes on its website and does not endorse and is not affiliated with Manor and Steel in any official capacity whatsoever. The artwork used in Manor and Steel was produced by Valgrind. The theme tune for Manor and Steel was created by Chris Glidden. Manor and Steel is created under a Creative Commons 4.0 attribution license. If you use any part of the show, please give us credit.